Overwatch 2 is getting a sick new hero. She's a support, her name is Juno, and her abilities might be absolutely broken. But given the current state of the game right now, it could be exactly what we need.
Very interesting to have another support like that. I'm gonna be honest with you, Juno looks pretty sick.
Just yesterday, Blizzard surprise announced their upcoming support hero, Juno. Now, we've known about her for quite some time thanks to some early concepts we saw at BlizzCon. Previously nicknamed Space Ranger and hailing from Mars, there were a few teasers and leaks of the astronautical character in the lead-up, including her name. But now we know everything. Most importantly, what she actually does. And folks, strap in, because it finally looks like we have another movement hero that could actually rival Lucio. But more on that in a little. Juno's primary weapon is the Medi Blaster. It's a sort of machine pistol that heals when shot at teammates and does damage when shot at enemies. Think Ana's sniper, but a little burst fire blaster. And you know, this is actually the first time since then that they're using this mechanic, which is kind of weird because I always thought the idea was pretty novel. Anyways, Juno's secondary fire, pulsar torpedoes, also heals teammates and damages enemies. The difference with these is that they lock onto your targets in your LOS before launching, and can hit both friends and foes at the same time. Juno's ultimate, Orbital Ray, also heals by calling down a massive beam that travels forward while also buffing allied damage. Sounds like pretty cool medic style stuff, right? Well, this is where things get funky. The rest of Juno's abilities are all movement based. Her passive lets her double jump while in the air as well as hover when held. Glide boost is essentially a jetpack, and Hyper Ring shoots out a portal that boosts teammate speed. So she basically has a speed boost ability like Lucio, while also being another character that can fly, which is dope, but also a little scary. The most entertaining heroes in the game are the ones with movement mechanics. It creates faster, more dynamic matches, and usually results in heroes and comps with a higher skill expression. And even from a spectator's perspective, dive and rush comps are objectively more fun to watch. Now, at the same time, movement can be frustrating. Movement invites flankers, like Sombra, Tracer, Reaper, the list goes on. Plus, Juno can fly, and all that put together can be a fucking pain in the ass to deal with, especially for the more casual players out there.
Glide boost. Glide horizontally with increased movement speed. Hopefully it's not that fast, because I do think they're doing something a little bit too crazy and giving every single character a movement ability now.
Still, I think her positives outweigh any negatives, especially since this could lead to a bit of a needed meta shakeup. Listen, I love Lucio, we all love Lucio, but he's basically been a top pick since the beginning of Overwatch 1. It finally feels like we might actually have a competitor. Well, that is unless the Juno Lucio comp we saw in the trailer is actually broken and the game turns into a movement shooter.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of awesome. Hang on, where's the frame? This is kind of awesome. I wonder if Lucio is dead or hyper rush comps are now better. Like now you just have double speed.
And despite Juno's abilities kind of being picked from a bunch of different characters already in the game, she could still be quite refreshing, something that Overwatch 2 desperately needs. For the longest time, the Overwatch dev team had the mentality that heroes needed an identity with their kit, something they're known for. And Lucio was the support that gave people speed. It was who he was, and it was why he was cool. But I think people and the devs realized that that mentality can lead to overpowered heroes. Once again, Lucio rules, and I think he's always going to be a special character. But he's been a must-pick in certain comps for so long, and not having options is one of the game's biggest issues. So Juno is proof that they are willing to leave the mentality of hero-exclusive abilities behind, which if done right, is a good thing. Unless, once again, this leads to a Juno Lucio comp, and this ages like milk.
To have another speed boost, honestly, you know what's gonna end up happening, chat? It depends how much healing Juno has. But I would not doubt it to see Juno Lucio comps already.
And that's a possibility. Listen, Overwatch is probably one of the most shit-on games of all time. And given that Blizzard is at the helm, it's pretty easy to do. I don't need to belabor you with all the issues the game has had over the years, but it's important to know that Overwatch 2 has had a lot of ups and downs since its release in 2022. And right now, things are looking a little down. The game already has an overwhelmingly negative rating on Steam, but that is not stopping people from continuing to review bomb it this very second. And honestly, no matter what Blizzard does, I don't think people will ever stop complaining about this game. That being said, the game does have an actual balancing problem that has gotten pretty out of hand in the last year. I honestly think that Blizzard cannot help themselves from power creeping the shit out of this game. They just keep releasing characters that do so much and almost instantly become meta, while legacy heroes sit in the dark to rot. Some heroes never see the light of day in pro play because of this, and in casual, it can be absolutely miserable. And then, just earlier this month, Blizzard released a patch that buffed the shit out of tanks for no apparent reason and pissed a whole lot of people off. Most eventually got over it, but it just adds to this theory that Blizzard isn't actually trying to solve anything, but instead make these drastic changes to try and shake things up and get people back playing. So the question is, will Juno just be another example of this? Giving more options to just Lucio is a good thing, but not if it only makes her the new problem. At the end of the day, it's gonna take a lot more than a single support hero to save or kill Overwatch 2. Mauga and Venture sure didn't, but people do legitimately seem very excited about Juno, so maybe this is finally a step in the right direction. And you can play her this weekend, so give her a whirl and let me know what you think. I do think with like Apex dying though, like there's already Apex streamers who are like playing Overwatch now. Like some went to Valorant, but it's interesting to see that like a lot of Apex Legends players are like picking Overwatch as like their new game because they think that Apex is dying. And it literally, I think it could just be because Overwatch has like more movement abilities.